Sam goes back to the Marlies. There's going to be some changes. There's a chance that Bailey may get an up.
Bailey will be in. I think Sammy he's played very well, played hard. He scored a goal. He had an energy in a fight last night. But we're hoping that he can help the Marlies as well. We have a lot of confidence in him. But we are going to have Bailey in the lineup tonight.
You get to move Sil back into the middle then?
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about the versatility of him. That he can play either wing or a center, and it's been positive.
Peter, it was kind of a weird situation the last Buffalo home game here for the Sabres. Some fans turning on the home team, wanting them to lose so that they can improve their draft position. A lot of Leafs fans usually in this building. Are you expecting pretty much a home game type atmosphere for your group tonight?
No, I don't know about a home game. I think that we've always had good fan support, and they've come here and cheered us on, so I expect the same.
What have 2 wins in a row done for your group, just maybe in terms of easing some of the frustration or whatever was going?
I think it just adds a little bit to the confidence, and they're feeling good about themselves right now, and we've been pushed in a lot of different directions and looking for some consistency, and so I think that they, rightfully so, should feel a little bit better about themselves and continue in this direction.
How much are you in curiosity/discovery mode with Bailey?
I think any new player, you're always kind of evaluating. You're evaluating his the way his actions are, how he carries himself. You're evaluating his practice habits. You're evaluating, him as a person, what he does. So you're always watching, and seeing how he carries himself. So in his first game, I thought he did fairly well. We're going to be watching closely, and we're going to be hopefully seeing what he needs to be working on in the future and where he needs to go. But he's a good kid, and I expect him to continue in that direction. So I think he'll get it pretty quick.
Important to moderate his entry into the National Hockey League the way you guys have done a game, sit back a couple, back in here tonight?
I don't know if we're holding that back or anything. I think it was other things that just made some of the decisions. We had a good game and a win. We decided to go with the same lineup, and I think Sammy Carrick did a very good job. We wanted to keep him in, and so I think it's just a matter of what we think the situation carries for that game.
Maybe it's an unfair question, but of all the guys that you've added in the last month or so since the trade deadline, Brewer, Lindstrom, any of those guys, has any of them done anything that have stood out for you, like in terms of being a positive influence on the room or a good influence on the ice?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, first of all, let's just start with Brewer. I mean, his first couple of games were a little bit slow, and he hadn't played a lot of games. He had that broken ankle, and he had held out of games. He hadn't played a lot of hockey this year, but he's come in and been a real positive person in the room, a leader. He's carried himself very well. Since then, I think he's played against top lines. He's stepped up. He's been a voice in the room, as I said. So he's been a real good, positive, addition to the room. Lidstrom, he's been seen more and more. We're talking to him. You can see his skill level, but we're talking more and more about managing the game. And we thought that he did a fairly good job. I mean, the last 2 games especially, where he's getting more minutes, and I think that helps as well, getting more minutes and being able to handle that, because some players have a hard time when they sit for a little bit and then play, and he's done a very good job with the transition there. I think all the young guys, we've seen some real positive thing out of Sammy Carrick. We've seen positive things out of Zach Sill. He's came in and brought some energy in different areas of the game and penalty killing. So a lot of the young people we're seeing positive things out of, and I guess that's a little bit of what we're looking for.
Peter, your job's obviously to prepare the guys you have to play, but have you paid any attention to the wider discussion about the draft lottery and the standings and things of that nature? Or?
We're all aware of all that kind of stuff, and that's not what our situation is here in the coaches' room. We want to be keep them focused on what they have to do on a day-to-day basis, and keep that energy of that the room going in the right direction, and the work ethic and the attitude. So we all know that everyone has their own jobs to do and what they're supposed to do. So we'll let the other guys handle that.
Peter, the Leafs have struggled in Buffalo over the years, and obviously you've only been here for the one. But I'm wondering, anecdotally, in your career, can you remember when you've been part of teams that have just, for whatever reason, there's been a mental block or something where they go into a building and they struggle, and whether there was something that was underlying there?
I think it's pretty hard to look at the years and years of past in one building. I mean, there's different coaches, different players. There was first few years in Nashville, we dominated in St. Louis and we dominated in Chicago. and Columbus, and all those teams became good teams, and that doesn't happen anymore. Everything changes and morphs and changes. So looking back that far is more for you guys than it is for us. We try to stay in how the team's playing now. Beginning of the year, there may have been different injuries, different situation, different back-to-back games. There's so many variables that come into it. So I really don't pay too much attention to what a long-term record was over a long period of time. I wasn't here, so it really doesn't matter to me.